a reduced residue system modulo n. This is the definition on page 235. It's a set of integers such that each element of the set is relatively prime to n. So that's the first condition. So a system is a reduced residue system is a set of numbers. So for example, let's say if n is equal to 8, and we're looking for a reduced residue system modulo 8. The answer will be a set of numbers. What kind of numbers will be in the set? We start with the number, say, for example, 1. Because we have to make sure the number in the set is relatively prime to n. So n is 8. So we're trying to find out all the numbers that are relatively prime to 8. Relatively prime means that these two numbers don't have any common factor except 1. So for example, if we start with the number 1, the greatest common factor of 8 and 1 is also 1. So they don't have anything except 1, and which means 1 is in the residue system modulo 8. And similarly, let's check 2. But 2 is not relatively prime to 8 because the greatest common factor of 8 and 2 is 2. So they have a common factor. And the 3, but 3 is relatively prime to 8 because the greatest common factor is 1. And the 4, the greatest common factor is of 8 and 4 is equal to 4. So we cannot take 4. And next one is 5. 5, the greatest common factor of 8 and 5 is also equal to 1. And next we check 6, and the greatest common factor of 6 and 8 is 2. So it cannot put it in there. But a 7, the greatest common factor of 7 and 8 is 1. And so this is called, and we can check 8, but 8, the greatest common factor of 8 and 8 is going to be also equal to 8, so that's not going to be in here. But what about 9? So you may say greatest common factor of 8 and 9 is also equal to 1. So should we put 9 in here? We will not. Why? Because there's a second condition. No two different elements are congruent modulo n. Because 9 and 1, they are congruent modulo 8. By definition, 9 minus 1 is divisible by 8. So 9 is congruent to 1, because when 9 is divided by 8, the remainder is 1. That's the other way to look at the congruence relation. So 9 pretty much is the same as 1 when we take modulo 8. So there's no need to put 9 in there. Similarly, if we consider 11, 11 is congruent to 3 modulo 8. So 11 is going to be kind of the same as 3 if we take modulo 8. So that's all we have. And so when we consider the reduced residue system modulo a number, all you need to do is pretty much consider a number from 1 up to a number minus 1. And you don't have to consider numbers bigger than that. But you could pick a different system. So for example, what if I can pick, instead of picking 1, 3, 5, 7, I can pick, for example, I can pick a 9, 11, 13, and 15. That's also a reduced residue system modulo 8. So there are different answers, but usually we pick the smaller numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7. Because 9 is congruent to 1, 11 is congruent to 3, 13 is congruent to 5, 15 is congruent to 7. I mean, you can pick this one, but just make sure any two numbers here are not congruent. All right, so that's how we found reduce residue system modular number.